Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
Welcome back to the Patrick Riggins Show.
Buddy in Cleveland, no minority got Obama phone.
Got that Obama phone.
Obama Cellular.
Obama Cellular, yes. Don't like it? Blame the previous cell phone provider you had. All right.
I wonder if texting comes on that, too, if a texting package comes on. I'm serious. I wonder if a texting package does come on that.
I don't know. That would be...
That's a good question.
I would almost bet so.
Do they get smartphones?
Because someone would be...
do they get the crank-up phones like they used to have on MASH?
Yeah,
or the big Lebowski, the one that's got the big shoulder strap that you got to wear like a purse.
Or that big... the one, I had back in the 80s.
That's probably iPhones.
Yeah, the huge... Yeah, that's probably what it is.
iPhones.
Give everybody an iPhone.
They get better phones than I do.
So, all right. We're going to go to Blue here. And during the last hour, Blue, how's it going? You're on the Patrick Riggins Show.
Hey, Patrick. I'm very upset.
Uh-oh.
In the fact that my government has not given me classes on how to speak and listen and even write or text Ebonics or Ebonics.
Oh, yeah. But are you having a problem with the clip? You having a problem with that clip?
Yeah, because if you look at high schoolers, they're forced to take a foreign language. But shouldn't they have to be able to understand those that are in our own society before they can understand a foreign language?
Well, sure. Well, I guess in that, if you want to pursue that line of reasoning, we should all be taught Spanish too.
Especially, you got it, but that is considered a foreign language.
Yeah, well, that is true. This will be more of a dialect, I guess.
For now.
For now, yeah. Well, I guess you can consider Spanish a dialect almost. It's a dialect of the southern United States.
Well, no, apparently this was discovered back in the 1970s. I grew up in the 80s and was a high schooler in the 80s, and, they talked about it in my U.S. history class as this was an actual language.
Yes.
But it was not incorporated.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, of course, which I'm sure they'll agree, is you were in a government school to begin with.
I
know. There's your. You need to. Our government doesn't need to be educating our kids. We've got people who will do that. So when you have a government educating the population, it's liable to be swayed by the political winds that seem to be moving at the moment. So,
but there are movements within the public schools where the children are beginning to wake up and they're sounding their voices. I mean, in particular, my daughter, she's got a whole rest of the year to finish a report on the Battle of Athens.
Well,
and so we're actually going to McMinn County, and we're going to be interviewing people, as well as we have actual audio clips of what's going on, what happened at that time frame. And she's doing a whole documentary on it.
Well, that's good. So that's good. And that's, I think, a lot of the young people, especially when Ron Paul started making waves, I think a lot of young people are seeing it maybe as a way to rebel a little bit against the system, and I don't care how the reasoning is, as long as they're with us. But
I will tell you a very good story on her. She saw this back in 2008, where she fell in love with Sarah Palin, and she was in the 4th grade, and so she would wear her little Sarah Palin pins on her shirt, and her teacher of a different color told her she could not wear them to school. But it was okay for the teacher to have bumper stickers and posters for Barack Obama.
Sure.
And my 4th grader at that time said, no, I can wear my Sarah Palin pins to school.
That's good. And surprisingly, the ACLU has stepped up on some of those, where they've battled against people trying to shut down that type of speech. And that surprises me a little bit. But for now, far and away, they're way liberal, but they have spoken up on some of that stuff and defended some of these people who have wanted to wear a shirt that's a little bit more conservative, as you would say.
One of the more interesting things with Knox County schools, and I preach this story every time that I get a chance to, I tend to be on the homeopathic side of medicine. So I tend to look for natural remedies before I go to a medicine. And so we went to the school, to the nurse, and I said, here's honey and lemon.
Yeah.
2 separate containers. All she has to do is mix it together at lunch to calm a cough.
Sure.
No. She could not consume it.
Well, you should have put it in a condom. They'd have given it to her without telling you then.
Why? Well, see, until you know that, you didn't. But no, I had to have a doctor's note.
Yeah. That's the key.
My next response was, so if I put it in her lunchbox and individual packages,
yeah,
and she consumes it on her own without your knowledge, is that acceptable? Oh, no, we're going to search her lunch now.
Sure. Like I said, let me get off here real quick, Blue. I appreciate the thing. I've got a couple more calls. Appreciate your call, though. But, like I said, hide it in a condom. They won't mess with it. In fact, they'll make an example of her and be glad she did it. Do we have enough time to get a couple more? Yeah, okay. We'll jump to another call here. Sandy, real quick here. Go ahead. You're on the Patrick Riggin Show. Hello.
Did you say Sandy?
I said Sandy.
Oh,
wait a minute. I said it with an I, not a Y, so it's not you.
That's okay. No. I wasn't for sure because of the phone cut off right when you said the name. I didn't want to be talking with nobody.
Oh, sure. Just blabber. I do it all the time.
Well, I do too, tell you the truth, Ben. I was calling because of the cell phone situation.
Sure.
Last month, I got an increase on my landline phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I called AT&T and asked them why. Well, they went up on all of them. And I said, well, I have the cheapest plan that AT&T has. I've had it for years because we have very few calls. And I said, is this increase basically because of all the cell phones? And she says, well, we're not supposed to discuss that.
That means yes.
There's your answer.
I said, that means then yes. And I said, it's really funny. When I got off of the phone, I was aggravated, and I said, I live in a community, there's 12 homes. There's 2 of us that's paying our way. 2 of us that are not on food stamps, cell phones, commodity foods, SSI, everything. What about the house where the woman and man lived together, never married, the son grown, and all of the benefits that went to that home.
That's
over the course of time. Well, it was so good, Patrick, that one of the other neighbors said, hey, listen, I've got a son that's got 4 children. Yeah. I want him to get a divorce because they can get more benefits if they're divorced.
Sure. They're
divorced. They're living together, but they get all of our benefits. My mother has been disabled with cancer for years. Not one monthly paycheck has she ever received for disability. You know why? Because we could have a good life with within our means.
Sure, exactly. And I gotta let you go here, Sandy, real quick. I appreciate the call.
Sorry to take too much.
No,
Patrick.
We welcome your call.
Well, we appreciate you, Patrick, for being honest and upfront, and we listen every week, and we plan to continue to do so.
Good. Spread that message around.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
God bless you, Sandy. We appreciate it. And this is the Patrick Riggin Show. So we got a couple more calls that we weren't able to get to. We're right up here on the end of the show. If you want more information about the show, go to facebook.com/Patrick Riggin Show, and we'll have all the different shows on there from the archives. Also, you can go to youtube.com/Patrick Riggin Show. Thank you so much to everyone calling in. Call us in next week. We'll try to get with your calls. We're going to try to work more of those in each week. This is Patrick Riggins. Join me next Sunday afternoon where once again we'll talk about freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. This is me, Patrick Riggins. We'll see you next Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Have a great week.
Join us again next week for a solid dose of truth on the Patrick Riggin Show. Every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. Be there.